Hey friends, it is 65, pushing 70 degrees outside today, and Michigan has decided to be nice. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at all of these things that I have got outside. I've got these trays here and I've got some on the other side, and I'm going to get them planted somewhere. It is going to get cold again. It looks like next Monday and Tuesday I've got a chance of an overnight low of 31. So I don't want to bring anything that's in the house out yet, but I do want to give these guys a bit more protection maybe than just sitting in these trays. So if I do go ahead and put them in their homes, they can start growing, and if I need to cover them, I can. But most of these are all cold tolerant and have been outside for weeks already. So we're gonna go ahead and get these in the ground today. First thing we're gonna deal with today are these ranunculus. They are almost all, in fact, I think they are all up and alive. So I'm gonna get them in the ground because they are very early spring flowers from what I know. This is my first year growing them. That's kind of why I wanted to do them. I wanted something that's going to have color early in the spring. So we need to get these guys into the ground. So let's find them a home. This is my very first year doing ranunculus, but let me tell you what I've done so far. So far, I took the corms, which I've got in here already growing, and I soaked them for a couple hours. And then I planted them shallowly after they were soaked in some potting soil, and I tried to pre-sprout them. Now, I read many things telling me not to get my corms soggy after that. They do not like to have wet feet. So I think that I was too conservative. They didn't sprout. So finally I gave them another really good soaking. I left them in my kitchen where it was warmer. Previously I had them in the basement where it was a little bit cooler, and they all started to sprout. So I immediately got these 4-inch pots. I put them in the bottom with a little bit of soil, and then I covered up my sprouts all the way to the top. And now they're all up looking like this, and I'm gonna plant them in the ground. From what I have found online, from many sources, I'm gonna plant mine 9 inches apart in this bed behind me. So let's get them planted. Okay, you see that great root system on the bottom, how it's kind of holding its shape? That's the perfect way to transplant it, just to make sure all those roots get down in there. You don't want them circling around too much. If I left it in too longer, it might have been root bound. This was the right time to do this. Okay, so here's the bed. I've got 3 rows of ranunculus, roughly 7 to 9 inches apart. We're gonna see how those work out. I still have plenty of space back there to grow something up if I want to. Not quite ready to yet. And I can fill these holes in and grow things in there too. But I'm gonna wait until these ranunculus get going before I plant anything here to give them time to get up and tall. The next thing I've got out here that we're gonna get planted is the rosemary. I've got 2 containers of it, of French rosemary. It smells amazing. The smell of herbs just feels like summer to me. I can't help it, I love it. So they're looking good. There are quite a few different little plants in here, and I was gonna spread them out, but what I think I've decided to do is I have a couple of this size container. I'm gonna go ahead and put all of them spaced out in one of those containers and make a giant pot of rosemary. My hope for this is that maybe I can overwinter it, because in the past I've spread these out and gotten good plants, but they've only been little and they haven't made it through my Michigan winters, which in theory they can if protected. Last year's almost made it. Almost, it was so close. So this year I'm gonna do all of them into a planter here. I might add a couple flowers with it eventually, but for now I'm gonna get them all tucked safe into a pot, and see how big I can get this sucker to grow. The other thing I'm going to plant inside one of these pots is Russian tarragon. And this will obviously have some things in here with it. But again, I'm going to put this in first. I'm going to let it get nice and established. And at that point, once it's established, I'll go ahead and put some flowers or something else in there with it. But that tarragon's going to go right there. Okay, over here on the side of the house, on the driveway side, this is where that spinach and the radishes are. And there are some empty spots where a couple didn't come up, or on the ends I left some space. I'm gonna plant those violas I started here too. Here's how they're looking. They look okay, but a flat of violas in my area is maybe, you can probably get them on sale for like $8 at Mother's Day. I am probably not gonna start violas from seed again, but I'm gonna plant these ones and see what happens. So this bed is now fully planted. I cannot fit anything else in this bed. I've got violas here in this corner and violas on that end corner. I've got all my spinach in front and all my radishes in the back. This is set for spring and won't be able to plant again until I've harvested out these radish and spinaches. I also had a couple cilantro I popped in here with this tarragon. Okay, friends, stop from our regularly scheduled programming of planting to look at these. I planted, can you see inside those? Some hostas to line my driveway because I get this scraggly edge and I wanted a beautiful edge in the driveway. And I thought they were dead. And look at them all come up. Oh, they're so pretty. Thank you to my soon-to-be brother-in-law, Gregors. Oh, they're lovely. They're just so pretty like this. I've never even seen hostas coming up like this, I guess. How cool. Learn something every day. I also had some garlic chives, which I popped into a pot. These are dianthus from last year that are coming back. They're back over here with Boosa's rosebush. All right, in this bed back by the back door, which is right next to the other ranunculus, I'm gonna put, I've got like 10 leftovers, and I'm gonna put them all kind of in this middle. This is where the red cabbages were that died. I didn't really have good sized plants to replace them, and I didn't put seeds out. These Waltham broccoli are struggling. I put some more out there. I'm probably gonna pull those too, but I wanted to show you this. Look at this right here next to the Waltham sign. All those little guys coming up. Those are zinnia seeds. I had zinnias here last year, and those are all coming up together. There must have been a dead head right there. Look, there's some by the base of this plant over here too. Can you see in there? Wouldn't that be fun to get volunteer zinnias? It's too early to plant zinnia seed for real, but when nature pops them up on her own, who am I to say no? So I'm gonna go ahead and plant those ranunculus right here. So that really fills in that bed behind me. Those ranunculus are gonna look beautiful there because they're gonna come up, right? And then over there, I'm gonna have this beautiful flush of spring color. Everyone cross their fingers and say a little prayer. And that's about all the time I get in the garden today. Time to go pick up my kids and be a mom. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. See that great root system on the bottom, how it's kind of holding its shape? That's the perfect way to transplant it. Just to make sure all those roots get down in there. You don't want them circling around too much. If I left it in too longer, it might have been root bound. This was the right time to do this.